Be more grind, rise, shine through the struggle. Black dollar circulate, flexing muscle. Politics and biz building walls like bricks. Motown soul rap mixed in the fix. Tiny cover spitting truth, microphone holder. Past the noise scene, watch growth in the folder. Black biz bright spotlight in the dark. Hustling hard, lighting sparks in the park. Beam on news, where we breaking glass ceilings. All black every day, income healing. Donnie Glover, flip the script. Let's go. Black Wall Street roadmap. Be more flow. Real talk, stock rise. Dreams ain't looking hollow. Blueprints, handshakes, enemies wallow. Baltimore kings, queens, crown on the throne. Legacy built, stone by stone. Headlines, deadlines, moves in the background. Politics, money clips, elevate the town. Black beard strategist, wealth can't be missed. Twist the plot, make the whole world twist. Be more news, success we inhaling. Victories, IRS, no detailing. Donnie Glover, rise to shine, let's glow. Focused on green, black, Wall Street in tow.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. My name's Donnie. Last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. I'm the publisher of BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. We've been publishing Be More News for 23 years. We launched BlackUSA.News in 2021. And in the process, I wrote a couple of books. Unapologetically Black, that was 2015. And it came out with I Am Black Wall Street. That was 2021. That was the 100th year of the commemoration of Tulsa's Black Wall Street. Last year, I wrote Entrepreneur, and just recently released Black Blueprint. All available on Barnes Noble and Amazon. We've been doing this Indigenous Series. We've been looking at the indigeneity of our people. Who are we? Are we Moors? Are we Hebrews? Are we Native? And we've come up with some very fascinating things. I'm learning. I'm a student. I'm a journalist, but I'm here to learn. And so let me bring in tonight's panelists. Let's start with the elder there, Mr. Avon Bellamy. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Donnie. How are you?
Good. Bring in Sister Marsha Reeves Jews.
Hello, how are you?
All right. And we have Professor Peter Brooks.
Very nice to see you again, Donnie.
And welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Mr. Bellamy, did you say you had Native ancestry?
Yeah, Cherokee.
And Peter Brooks, you claim ancestry, Native ancestry?
Piscataway.
Okay. I claim Blackfeet. And on my mom's side, her father was from Puerto Rico, Barriqua. Marsha, what about you? You indigenous?
I'm just a little country girl from Indiana. And
Okay.
that whole Midwest area had a combination of everything. So they were talking about all kinds of people between Indiana, Michigan, and you had to go back and go down to the Kentucky area and Tennessee. So that whole area was encompassed. Then, of course, I had some relatives that were from Nolens, and we had some very interesting experiences in New Orleans down there. And in Texas, we had to go to City Gas, Texas, and that was very frightening for me. You had to go through Cut and Shoot to get there. something was wrong with that whole idea. But anyway, just cut and shoot. Okay,
Cut
we ain't
and
going back
shoot.
there. Y'all can go if you want to. It won't be me.
But you know, there were a lot of historic wars and a lot of tragic stories really took place in those areas as tribes were forced out and scattered throughout. And you remember, of course, Tecumseh, who went throughout that area, was from that area, Indiana, West Virginia.
Yes.
And
It's a lot. I always thought it was very interesting that people actually wanted to go to school in Indianapolis to Bloomington and go as far as Kentucky State and then down to New Orleans. And they had me go down there to Dillard. But it was a very interesting experience by comparison to being in a place like Baltimore or Los Angeles. There was a different kind of breeding, quote unquote, for lack of something else to call it. And people were very territorial at that time, particularly up in Michigan. So they had all these little lakes all over Michigan and northern Indiana. And we lived, it was like an enclave. And our communities in South Bend were enclaves. And we were very clear who was going to be where and what those boundaries were between those two places.
Well, you know, and Piscataways were all the way at the Treaty of 1854 at Fort Detroit. So our people, just like the Cherokees, spread throughout a great deal of land.
Yeah, and there were a lot of folks that were Native Americans in the state of Michigan, and you found them. That was fascinating. I went up there for a conference, and people started talking about all of the Black people who were in Detroit, but they spent a lot of time going across that river to be with family over there. That was fascinating. I didn't know anything about that. And that was just because I was involved with a conference that was there. But, you know, there's so many different little communities all over. City Gas, Texas. You had to go through Cut and Shoot, but then you got to drive all over and see all these weird signs to go where you needed to go, you know. And I was like, I don't want to be down here. I don't want to be over here in the Kentucky and Tennessee area either. There are just a lot of people that don't have respect for melanin in your skin, but they're the same ones that lay out in the sun trying to get black as me. I always thought that was weird. Jimmy Hall was a junior in high school when I was a freshman at South Bend, Indiana. And after every single holiday, he would leave, period. I guess they went to some lake or they laid in the background, but he would always come and bring his arm with that doggone suntan. And he wanted to always put it up next to us colored people. I thought it was deep. And one day I just said, Jimmy Hall, why are you trying to be black? And then he took offense. But you keep trying to get blacker than me. So what's the problem? I don't understand the correlation between you making it necessary for me to see how black you get in the sun.
All right, Marsha, let's get back on point. Peter.
Oh, yes.
Okay. You wanted to share something.
Yeah, well, you know, just like what Big Chief the Starflower had up there, We the Real Indians. It's the fact that our people, you know, have an allergy that we just have to disagree about stuff. And so I wanted to share this clip.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this a human thing? Does this happen in every ethnic group around the world? Because Mr. Bellamy, I want you to know that I hope you got your Bible nearby. Because
it's nearby.
One of the things that has come up repeatedly in the comments is Deuteronomy 28. So please proceed, Peter.
I don't know Deuteronomy 28, but I thought you'd find this one interesting.
10 of them in here in a room, all 10 of them will have a lot of differences about where the civilization started, what we did, who did it, and where. Okay, white people agree on their history, even if it's a lie. They agree on it. Patrick Henry, they agree on that. Marco Polo, whoever it is, they agree. Yep, that's what he did. Yep, that's what they did. They don't have a argument about what the truth is. They just came
Okay,
together,
okay. I
decided
heard
on
a
what.
point, Peter. So that's her perspective.
Right.
I think, Mr. Bellamy, would you agree that in any group of people or in any corner of the world, there's disagreement? I mean, look at India. They got you had in
They got
Pakistan and
patches.
Bangladesh, they got more people than China. You mean to tell me they all on the same page? Come on. We are hard on ourselves, man.
There's no people that's on the same page ever because we all individuals. We all have individual thought patterns and
That's true.
experiences with life, experiences with how we are going to live that life. Sometimes how we have to live that life.
Mhm.
But
And so,
fundamentally,
finding a whole bunch of people that are in singular agreement with each other, I don't think you're going to ever find that.
but they do have foundational things which they agree upon, such as
Yes, true.
your heritage, the way you view the world, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you couldn't be organized as a civilization.
I want to differ on that.
Go ahead.
We know that the Moors dominated the Iberian Peninsula for 800 years. There are people in that area, Europeans, who know that. But it's not in the literature that we read about in this country when it comes to world history. Nowhere in our history classes do they touch the African Moors dominating Spain and Portugal for 800 years, teaching them all sorts of facets of life, bringing them out of the Dark Ages. Nowhere does it talk about that.
They did bring them out of the Dark Ages
Mhm.
because had it not been for the Moors, you wouldn't have anything called modern day anything in
Right.
Europe. Because everything they got, that's where they got it from. They got it from the Moors.
Mhm.
The Moors already had libraries. The Moors already had health systems. The Moors already were doing sophisticated heart operations. The Moors were doing all of that. The Moors had the sky charts and the star charts because they were far advanced. And so when you have people from Europe calling them savages, it was the savages that came in contact with the Moors. It wasn't the other way around.
Mhm.
When the Moors left Spain, they left it 100 times better than they found it.
How so?
And there
What
were
were the
royalty
priorities?
across you. I'm sorry.
What were those priorities for the Moors?
For the Moors were an intelligent people. When they conquered, they didn't just conquer to conquer. They actually conquered to improve. And that's what they did. They didn't create slavery in any system like the ones we had to go through.
Mhm.
They didn't do that. I've had arguments with white men who tried to make that be the case, but
Right.
that wasn't true.
Mhm.
Because what they found when they got to Spain, what they found was a people who were living in the Dark Ages.
Right.
And they didn't get out of the Dark Ages until after that 800 years was over. The architecture and everything that you find in Spain, even to today, is based on that experience.
Mhm. But how did they start with the idea of what was available to them and how to make all of these items? How did they do that? And what was there some documentation or books or historical I
They
guess
had 8 different libraries. They developed their own systems of thought, math, etc.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you have what I'm trying to remember, the Dagons. Well, let's look at the Dagons, for instance. That's an African group of people.
Mhm.
They have more
The
sophisticated
Dogon.
Dogons, right? They have more sophisticated star charts than we have today with all of our science. And when our science catches up to it, they find out that the Dagon were correct.
Mhm.
And they do that on their cave walls.
That's deep.
I
on their
know it is.
cave walls. They're
Mhm.
etched in, or how does that reproduce itself on that cave? There's no paint. What did they use? Blood or?
They use paint.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they had a
They,
form of that's
the,
mud. It's simply mud and
somehow
burn.
we get the idea that Africans were the most primitive of the people that lived on the planet.
When they created everything.
Right.
They created everything that we now use on the planet. We still doing it. We still doing it as a people today.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched well, I can't call it a meme, but a document where the president of the United States is naming off all of these things that Americans have invented, and every single thing he named was something that a black person invented.
Right. That
But he
part.
didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that all of that was white people,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's making that connection.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the Dogon was studying without the use of a telescope. The Dogon of Mali, Dogon.
Yes, and they named Sirius
Serious
as the place where that information was coming from. That they had contact with the people who lived on that in that star system, Ceres.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's very powerful. But it seems like it takes us so long, or for me, for sure, to do the research. Is it that we can go to every library and find it, or are there more libraries that are more related to our real history? Like, is there an encyclopedia for Black?
Well, they had a document called the Black Book, but that was about maybe 35, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And what that instrument did was break down a lot of this and give you a lot of that information,
Mm-hmm.
so that you could go back and look at it and find out what it was worth. Me, I stumbled on it by accident. To tell you the truth, I was stealing a book from the library and stole the wrong book.
I love it.
True story.
What was the book that you were trying to get that you ultimately?
He told that story last time. You can't do no reruns.
Where's the
Bless
star?
you, brother.
Where's the star formation in
Okay,
relation?
Brenda, we finally got you on the show. We're gonna put your comment on. Brenda don't like to come on the air, but you're gonna take this time right now and tell these people about this Bantu once and for all. You have the floor. Cut your TV down. She watching the show live, y'all. She's been talking about the Bantu, and I want y'all to hear this.
Oh wow, okay.
Cut the computer off.
Okay, well, the Bantus are a group in Africa. The Bantus, I would say, are, I would identify them.
Baby, you got to cut that computer off.
The Bantus, I would say, are, okay, cut my computer off.
Yeah, you just stay on the phone. Cut the computer off.
You hear me now without the echo in the
Yeah,
background?
there you go.
I would identify the Bantus as a DNA group, or even I'd say a racial group. I mean, how our understanding of race is defined by, I guess you'd say, characteristics such as.
We lost her.
Characteristics such as DNA,
Mm-hmm.
geography,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
language.
It really had nothing to do with a black-white thing. That's pretty new. So the Bantus were a group that expanded across Africa, and they have the same DNA. Now, what happens, it was only the Bantus who were slaved in North America and West Africa, because we're the same biological group of people. We don't see any of the other DNA groups that are totally different, like the Khoisan. The Khoisan would be like Nelson Mandela. We don't see any pygmies here. That's another distinct DNA group. We don't see any many Nilotic people who came, and that would be like Iman. Iman, she's a Nilo, right? We
Yeah.
don't see any of like the Kushites, some of the Ethiopian groups, some of the Ethiopian tribes. We physically have a similar look. We look at each other every day, and we do have some differences, but we have a lot of common features. So at the same time, this is the specific group that are of the, I guess you'd say, of the group of the Hebrew Israelites with the E1B1A, the Bantus. All the Bantus all over the world, wherever you go, we're E1B1A. So, I mean, it was also said that we were enslaved because of that. But also, if you kind of continue to study with the Bantus, now what they say is the Bantus had the oldest language group, right? They also are saying, are they Bantu scrolls or Dead Sea Scrolls? Now, there are people who've never been affected, not colonized. They've not been colonized. They've had consistent continuity of their history. So they know who their people are. They know when we left Egypt, when we came into Egypt through their oral history. And so we're one group. Even, okay, look at the pyramids that are built in Egypt, in America. What about the pyramids in Antarctica? What about the pyramids in India? What about the pyramids that they say on the moon? Do we ever talk about that? Who built those pyramids? So when you go and you talk about the Bantu history now,
Slow down, Brenda. You just threw out there pyramids on the moon.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Huh?
That's true.
Really?
Yeah. They hide it from you with the scientists, but believe me, they got information that we never get to hear about or find out about unless somebody spills the beans. And there have been people who spilled the beans.
Now with the Freedom of Information Act, certain things are slowly coming out. But if you notice the pyramids all over the world, they have the same architect. It's the same science. It's literally the same people. So if you think about the pyramids, what about the pyramids in Antarctica? What is Antarctica really known for? Antarctica is more so known for, I guess you'd say, UFOs these days. They said that was like a colony or a hub for, some people may not believe it, but other than earthly beings, right? So I think the important piece when we start talking about all of it, putting it together, is looking at what the Bible says. If you think about, there are 3 people in the Bible who never suffered death. That was Enoch, Elisha, and Elijah. They were said as being translated up to where, right? So the Bible always references to the sky. You have the Native American tribes, they reference to the people of the sky. You have African people saying we came from the sky. So
do you think we came from the sky?
I'm certain we did.
Okay. Any final thoughts you want to share with us tonight?
Oh, I do. And,
what else would you like to share? I don't want you to go on and on. I just want you to make some points, and we want to get back to the panel.
I think so. I think that there's a common group of people. Okay, there's a common group of people, and I believe we are those people. I don't know if you remember about the DNA of Albert Perry. He has the oldest found DNA that's actually rewriting books. Well, by the way, he would be classified as a Bantu because he's the E1B1A. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
So although we're in different parts of the world, we're one biological group, not all African people are E1B1A.
Okay. Thank you, Brenda, for your contribution tonight.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Unpack that.
Wow.
Well, I can tell you one thing.
Pyramids on the moon. I did not know. I'm learning every day. I'm a witness.
There's some information out a Dr. Greer, Stephen Greer, who is I can't call him a ufologist. I can't call him that because he's a little more than that. What was that?
It was me trying to get my light.
Oh.
Well, she played it off real good though. Did you see that? That was like a pro.
Oh, just all you got to do is look at it.
So where was I? Oh yeah.
Stephen Greer.
Stephen Greer, who has written, well, he's not the only one. Actually, there are a few people out there that have written books on some of these things. And these books are written from a scientific aspect. In other words, they have documentation for what they're talking about. Some of that documentation has been around for a long time, but it's been kept secret.
Right.
And one of the places that they declare these secret vaults of information is kept is in Antarctica. I don't know how true that is. I'm just telling you the dialogues that are out there in reference to some of this. And it's like over the last, I think I started studying the possibility of UFOs in the 60s. I was a kid and I was interested in it, and it made no sense to me to be thinking about something that was a universe and only had one planet that had life on it. So I thought that was ridiculous. I didn't think that God would only make one planet with life.
Right.
Okay, so check this out. Have you ever seen one UFO?
I have. I saw UFOs. I didn't know what they were at the time that I saw them. I got 15. I was about 15 years of age.
I got you, and I'm about to ask you a question. This is no slight, no trying to minimize your faith. I have wondered, like, well, what does that church service look like? Is it like some Star Wars stuff?
What church
Human
service?
beings over here, people from or entities from another planet over there? Are we in the? God made them too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
God leave me some type of weapon so I can not get got by this. Well,
let's go to the science. Okay, there's a whole group of science now that scientists have come with the 0-point energy, and their declaration in that is that everything we know called life and can look upon, expansion of the galaxies, etc., all come from that single point of energy. Mm-hmm. I call the single point of energy God. They can call it anything they want after that.
Right. Right.
But it's for certain that something that has intelligence that is far beyond our ability to even discern created this stuff.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because one thing is for sure, you could not create accidents. I don't care how many of them you had that could make a human being. You don't have an accident that precise. If you just look at the eye alone and all of the stuff that is required for the eye to even work, you know this is science at work. This is not
So when you hear the song Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air, you think that was a UFO?
People think it was. There used to be a guy, I think his name was Van Sertima. No, not Van Sertima. No, that's not him. It was another guy. Van Sertima was the one that dealt with, they came before Columbus. But there was a guy that was writing books, and the books he was writing had to deal with that, was dealing with those kinds of situations. And that was back, that's been a while. I wish I could remember the title of it. You know, I've gained so much information that it's easy to forget a whole bunch of stuff.
All right, well, let me refresh your memory. Come on, Peter, what's your presentation?
With my presentation?
Yeah, I told you they get bored quickly. Come on.
So.
Come on, chop.
All right,
y'all
here. I'm just getting warmed up there. All of y'all are from Maryland, right?
No.
So, all right, well, Maryland is where you are, sort of. Anyway, the area from Maryland, Pennsylvania to Virginia, parts of Virginia, was part of the Piscataway Indian Nation. Mm-hmm. And this is the Piscataway Indian chief, the 29th hereditary Tayak, speaking on the history of the Piscataway people.
And you think the people want to see this? Why?
Well, to learn their history, man, what really happened, what really went down here in Maryland, because y'all don't know, and why people say these things.
It was a policy. It wasn't about physically killing us, but it was erasing our language, our culture, our traditions, our history, our connection to the land, and just totally erase anything Indian in us. Anything. I actually believe when the first baptismal happened with Andrew White, that is where, for Piscataway people or indigenous people to this part of the state began. Because it was about erasing and killing what was given to us by God.
Which was the land and the people. And the people are still here today.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, anybody born, and Native people determine birth by the rivers. I was born by the Potomac River, other people by the Patapsco River. For thousands of years, you were loyal to somebody like the Piscataway Tayak, like the chief. And just because the new people come in and say, oh, you got to be loyal to this, and you got to do this, that, and the other, we can do that, but we can still remember our obligations to the Tayak. It's not
So,
that
Peter,
hard.
you're a problem solver. How do we better connect? Because there's a whole army of young people who find that we have not fought for them. They've deduced from the information that they're people, that we weren't fighters.
Oh, you mean in terms of the African presence here?
No, that your generation and those older than you, my generation, that we have not fought effectively enough for Black people.
I would say that's true.
Yeah.
But we're in a system that it would be almost impossible to do that in. Let me explain what I mean when I say that, because we get this thing twisted. We don't know who really controls this mess.
Right.
We think it's folks sitting in Congress, that kind of stuff, and it's people outside of that sphere. And they created the dynamic that was necessary for them to control a bunch of people who initially had European backgrounds, which they could not let them continue to have European backgrounds because they had to create a system that they could control, and they couldn't control all of these people.
Requires inequality.
I'm sorry. Carry on.
Well, what do we have here? You done did it already.
I thought this was beautiful, and it dovetailed with what he was saying. I'm sorry. This thing comes in.
Racism enshrines it.
I like what this sister said.
This is where we begin. Is racism capitalism's only altar of difference? No. But that doesn't mean that there is ever a moment in capitalism on a world scale where the various institutions that sort and stack us into groups does not contribute to group differentiated vulnerability to premature death.
That's our problem.
That last phrase is my definition of racism, and capitalism requires differentiation in order for it to realize its imperative, which is always to make money more.
Cash rules.
Well,
Mhm.
she's right.
It's
Cash
true.
road.
And I felt it dovetailed with what you were saying. I mean, we have a hard time just surviving because we faced racism at every step of the medical system from top to bottom, from college admissions all the way through how aggressively they treat your ailments and stuff. I mean, when I grew up in Baltimore, when I would come in from DC, there would be people everywhere. You could walk down the streets and hear the Orioles game echoing through the streets. Where has everybody gone? What's happened? I think it's extermination.
Well, it's a plan to create a one world government,
Yeah, yeah,
because
and
that's
they're
the
the guinea
real nut in
pigs.
all of this, is to
Yeah,
create one world government. Because what you have seen and what I've seen and paid attention to over the last maybe 40 or more like 50 years now is how they're going to plan to do it. Because I started becoming aware of this the first time I saw those scans.
Mm.
The minute I saw those scans, I was like, what? Why do they have to scan and know where everything is in a store?
mm,
Because that
mm.
didn't make sense to me. So I started paying attention. And then right behind that came this whole idea of the independence card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the
Wow.
independence card came, it was tied into the scan.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And so the scan then became a prominent part of taking people out of the cash money system and
Yeah.
putting them in a system where the money wasn't cash.
Mm.
And
And
it wasn't in the
now you can take your phone and hold it up
Yes.
at a cash register. And most of the places, not all yet, but
Mhm.
very many of them places will not even take cash.
Right.
We're dealing with blockchain currency right now. And we don't even realize that the United States has a digital dollar. And we don't realize why that is so. Is that they're going to change this system into a blockchain system. You know, I'm going to sound like
They
a
can do it.
conspiracy theorist on here to say some of the stuff that I absolutely know is true.
Right. Because it's the truth. And go ahead and just be yourself.
You had a pandemic. And one of the reasons for having that pandemic was to get everybody in the same position in the same way across the world, not just the United States of America. And so now you had all these people, and some of these countries went bankrupt. They don't tell you about that part. They keep that a secret for some reason. I don't know why. But what came out of it was this. The whole idea that we cannot allow the world's economy to be destroyed in a manner like this. Therefore, we need to create a currency that won't be dependent on the things that it is now dependent on, and have it be that way across the world. Okay. Yep. So we ended up with Bitcoin, and we never realized, and neither did I, realize what Bitcoin was.
Yeah, that's right.
When Bitcoin came out, it was a criminal enterprise. It was used by people who sold illegal drugs, guns, and wanted to hide money because you couldn't break into the system to find out anything.
Yes.
They used Bitcoin to dry run for the system that we're going to see, which is going to be a blockchain system. And we're seeing it now coming online. We just don't realize.
And how do we have it trickling down? Because it's coming, and it's coming fast.
It ain't trickling. That's
okay. It is coming fast.
Yeah, it is. It's coming to the degree that and everything that we see happening, because we're looking at it at one perspective,
right,
dealing with Donald Trump and who Donald Trump is. But Donald Trump is the village idiot in the game that the people who really run the game are playing. That's it.
That's right.
His job is to get a lot of these people who are color conscious and tied into a color conscious system, who are now frightened that their system is going to be taken from them, and that they're going to be subjected to the same kinds of things they've subjected other people to, until they're willing to do anything to save what they think is that system, while they destroy the one they should really be saving. Because if you was going to save the democracy, you'd really be saving something.
That's right.
So what they're doing is eliminating every democracy. And I'm not just talking about the United States. That's across the world.
Yeah.
Eliminating it so they can put in a one world government, and they're well on the way to being able to accomplish that. And all we're looking at is a bump in the road in our present situation. That's why I say I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I'm going to tell you right now, everything that I'm telling you is 100% true. And within the next 5 years, I guarantee you, you won't be able to buy much of anything without it being tied into a blockchain financial system. I guarantee you that.
All right, let me take the reins back, if you will. Over the weekend, we had a visitor come to town, and there were some comments on the video that went up by people who didn't understand what happened. I'm coming out of the store, Pennsylvania Lawrence. Across the street in front of the Avenue Market, I see who turned out to be Don Lemon. All I see initially as I was going in the store, tall, light-skinned dude, got two white guys as his camera people. And I'm like, that looks odd. But like I said, I'm going in the store. I come out, I'm like, oh, okay, that's Don Lemon. Let me go over here and see why he here. And so I proceeded to go and find out. And to my surprise, he was going around asking people if they should send federal troops to Baltimore. Now, I got to say, on this show, we had a young man. A part of why he hasn't come back on this show is because he did something on the show that kind of threw me. He did an informal, impromptu poll, and he was representing some Native Black Americans. He did a Trump poll, and it was Trumpsters everywhere. Now, while I am a novice at studying our indigenous history, certainly a lifelong learner, there's not too much you're going to tell me about politics. Not if you're talking about navigating the Democrats or the Republicans or DC or Annapolis or City Hall. The rest is gibberish because I've been there on the ground too many times, help people get elected, help people get unelected. So if we're going to come correct. And so anyway, I wanted to play the clip because it was taken out of context. And no, I'm not a Trumpster, but here you go. I think this is how you do it. Damn, I had it going earlier. What'd you do? What's your name?
Brooks. I didn't do nothing.
All right, well, let me try it again because I know how to do it now.
Yeah, bring it back.
Ooh, there's a different screen. New layout. Got all these damn pictures in here, Peter. Okay, here we go. Boom, share. There we go. Share.
I don't see it. Oh, you're gonna share your screen.
There we go.
To help out. We're doing fine. Yeah. Almost fine. You see, do you feel safe? I feel safe. This is one of the toughest neighborhoods in Baltimore. But, no, you don't feel safe. He was worried. He's worried. He's like, we're blowing up the block. Let's go. I'm like, well, they know that you are national. Yeah. But I wouldn't put the camera on certain people because that's just respect. I agree. We don't do that. If they come, we take the camera off. I don't shove a mic in their face if they don't want to talk. I live 2 blocks from here. Yeah. And like you, I'm a journalist. I love the work I do. It's a safe neighborhood. The only challenges we have a lot of times are transients. Believe it or not, there is a burgeoning number of non-Black addicts in the Black community. Yeah. That seems to be problematic when it comes to people going into vacants, stealing products and selling them on the streets. So it causes our dollar store to be closed. You're in the middle of a food desert. From Lexington Market to Mondawmin, there's virtually no fruits and vegetables. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday inside this market, there are fruits and vegetables next to it, no boundaries. If he wants to do something, help us to build some markets.
But you're going to have to get the crime rate down to do that, to stop the petty crime and the street crime that people come in and they...
It's not the picture he paints. This has been Baltimore for a long time. And actually, we love this mayor. No corruption.
You love this mayor?
Yeah, we love this mayor.
And the governor?
I think he's doing a decent job. You know, there's certain Republican things that I like, pro-business, that I'd like to see more of. But given this environment, I think they're doing a stand-up job. I follow politics pretty well.
Are you a Republican?
No. I'm a registered Democrat. Baltimore is 9-1 Democrat, but I have voted Republican before.
Yeah. Well, I thank you, Donnie, right?
Donnie Glover, yes,
Donnie
sir.
Glover. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Okay.
You want to get a picture?
Yeah, yeah.
So there you go. Do you think we need federal troops in Baltimore?
No.
Well, we got the lowest crime rate that we've had in 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we need somebody coming in? The last time we had a crime rate this low was under the Shield Dixon's administration, and then it was 30. It was the lowest we'd had in 30 years. Now we have the lowest we've had in 50.
Mm-hmm.
But even if it was the highest we've had in 50,
say that again.
Matter. Even if it was the highest that we've had in 50, the fact of the matter is, most of these people who are victims and committing these crimes have mental illness. And you got to start from there.
A lot
or
of
they
them,
poor, or they broke.
Yeah,
that's the point that I was
poverty. Yeah, poverty is the root of crime.
poverty is the runner.
That's it
For criminal activity.
It's
a series.
Look,
it's a basis for all the madness.
For the madness,
because out of that, if there's homes that are people are hitting one another, and you're going through all this, then you got dementia, you've got family members that are there, your elders are there, they're going through their own crunch. We have so many different issues coming at us from so many different directions, and still have to be able to articulate what our needs are. But you can barely say anything because everything is just coming at us all so quickly.
Excellent.
Absolutely true.
Very well said.
Absolutely true. One of the things that I listened to a lot of Don Lemon's. My daughter had called me up and let me know he was in town, and so I was actually watching it. And while I was watching it, he came upon, and I say came upon because it didn't look like he was here to have any conversation with the governor or the mayor.
Mm.
He did speak with them at Park Heights.
Right. But that was not scheduled.
No.
According to him, he ran across, and I watched it from the beginning when he was asking random people on the streets information. Some of them was telling them what they understood based on news, which is blues as far as I'm concerned. We've long since lost that ability to have any quality journalism. I used to be a journalist, so I know what a journalist is supposed to do. I haven't seen a journalist on the national stage. Oh, well, I'm gonna say until Joy Reid and I can't remember the other lady's name. They are journalists. They actually find facts, get information, back the facts up, and then present you a picture that's non-biased. You can make your own decisions from. Where have you seen a newscast like that in America?
On the Donnie Glover show.
There you go. That's an in-town version of it. We need a national. Mm-hmm. But yeah, having him come here and the way he phrased his stuff and the stuff that I saw that Fox News covered afterwards made it appear like everybody in Baltimore wanted to have somebody here with with boots on.
And that's what a lot of people watching the clip didn't understand. My immediate thought is, why are you even saying that man's name? You right here at the Avenue Market. You in the belly of the beast. Do you feel safe?
I do.
You know, I don't. And if I wanted to say something about the mayor, the governor, I got their number. I could call them my damn self. I don't need you to go speak for me. So yeah, that's in group conversation. He's out of town. That's like you discussing family business with somebody else. It's family business.
The other part is that I didn't like the way that he put a Trump drum beat on it, to tell you the truth, because that's what it sounded like he was trolling to get Trump on his side. Because why else would he look?
Yeah.
He's a journalist.
That's somebody's
All
ego.
he has to do is he could Google the information that he needed to know about the crime rate in this city,
That's ego.
and know that what Trump is saying is BS. And he's saying and quoting Trump. Get out of here.
But it also says something about the integrity of Black journalists. As long as I've known all of you, and Peter, you were my professor. Before you, there was Ron Nichols. We learned at Coppin about being a Black journalist, the responsibility that we have.
Right.
Before you guys, Mary Carter Smith told us up at WEAA, when you come on these airwaves, have some respect. What we do not do is anything similar to D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation. Big lips, poking out your lips, big eyes, acting scared of your own shadow. That buffoonery, that's what we don't. So I was taken when I saw him. And I was also taken by just the fact that he was there. But when he was there, I later saw clips of him dancing on the avenue. And it's like, kind of kills your testimony, kind of kills your legitimacy.
Right. Because
if you really care. Because as a Black journalist, I was taught to care. That's it.
When I saw him do that, and because I did see that part, I was saying to myself, I said, this guy's doing that because he's trying to make the people think that he's blended into them because they had some music playing, and it was pretty hip music. But not for you to be acting like that, and you supposed to be here on some kind of professional job, getting professional information. So to me, that was camouflage. I could be dead wrong, but I think he was trying to curry favor with this crumb that's in the White House. That's nothing but a tool for the people who want to create a one world government. We're going to have a one world government. I have no doubt about that.
No question.
We're going to have that. So when I'm looking at the
as a people, we need to come together. We've got to come together as a community, as a people.
For what's going to happen when we have it. Because we definitely going to have it.
No question. And we need to be working together and developing what all strategies coming from east, west, north, south.
I agree.
And this is not a time. This is not a time to get caught up in no ego. It's a time for us to really put our heads together and having conversations like we're having here and putting systems in place so that everything is laid out with timelines, just like you would be doing in your business. This is our business. We need to make this business strategic in what we do and say, and where we do it, and where we say it.
Well, you do realize that the conversation that we had earlier comes into this. How do you get a whole various communities of people to do that, to come to that kind of situation? Now, what I found in my life so far is that when you want to get something done, you get a small community of like thinking people and start a process, work the process through, and then begin to show it to somebody else. Because when people see that they can succeed, they're comfortable with trying to do that. So, and for people who have not succeeded, when you show them you've been succeeding, you've just been doing it in a way that didn't prosper you necessarily. That's how I used to talk to guys that was in the drug trade, because everybody else was against them, and I wasn't. I called them entrepreneurs, and people hated me for it. I told them they're entrepreneurs. These are guys that's creating systems that universities are using. So how can I just call them criminals? Unless I want to call those universities that took their information and used it in what
Well,
they call the legitimate universe,
mm,
successful, but the guys that they got that information from, they're gonna call them crooks.
hmm
So I had a different approach because intelligence is intelligence. You know, it doesn't have a skin color.
that's deep.
Mafia Shakur, I appreciate you. Latero, I'm not sure what you talking about over there. You're speaking in some broken English, but he said, are these journalists from here? Yeah, they all in Baltimore. But big ups to Mafia Shakur. He always gives love and respect. Any final thoughts before we get up out of here? Let's start with you, Peter. You the professor.
Well, I think this was a really interesting coming together, and I was especially penetrated upon what the people were saying here at the end, that putting together a small group of like-minded people who enjoy some successes, along the way, and they become accustomed to it. It becomes a part of their culture, and building upon that. I think what Sister Martha had to say, or should I say Queen Mother Martha had
Not
to say.
Queen Mother.
Queen Mother. I know I got some gray hair, but y'all don't have to.
But
No,
the way
I'm not
you
gonna stick
came
it with
on,
that. I'm gonna call it a gray fox. Look,
So
the way you
Latero,
came on.
let me just throw this in there. Latero asked if you're a journalist. Avon Bellamy, are you a journalist?
not anymore. I used to be. I used to freelance and work for a couple of the papers. I just write and analyze stuff now to protect myself more than anything else, because I don't like people sneaking up on me and thinking I'm stupid while they're doing it.
Oh, I misunderstood, Latero.
What's
You said other.
to being or about being a journalist?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I misunderstood this because y'all was just talking about janky
Well,
journalists.
this was a journalist who was trying to pass for
That's
being
what I'm talking.
people. Yeah,
We were talking about Don Lemon, Latero.
Right,
I
right.
misunderstood your question.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. But
Yeah.
I think what Marsha was saying, about the end, about how we all have to come together and prepare for this. Because one thing we haven't mentioned as part of this plan is AI. And I mean, think about it.
Yes.
Elon Musk controls all those vehicles. He could just program that software and take over a city. People don't have to have control of that vehicle, and they may not be able to control it. It might be able to operate on its own. You put 20,000 vehicles, that's like a beehive or something.
Yep.
You could do a lot of damage to a place.
Mm-hmm.
So, we do have to come together for disasters like that, epic disasters, of an AI type of atrocity,
And it's coming fast and hard.
Yeah.
It's coming fast.
We can't let this go. I forgot. Any thoughts on Venezuela? I get a phone call said that Donald Trump then went over there and shot up the wrong people, meaning he didn't shoot just any old people. You shot up some cartel people. That's my understanding, and that's the quickest way for him to get into a straitjacket. I mean, what would they call it? A casket.
Hmm.
Oh, wow.
Well, if he has done that,
Venezuela, you didn't see
That's
it?
a
He
whole
shot
nother
up
world.
No,
That's
I
a
didn't
whole
see
nother
that.
world.
shot
They
up a
ain't
drug
ready for
boat,
that.
supposedly a drug boat. He goes up.
Yeah, I
Who
didn't
knows?
know that it was Venezuelan, but yeah.
Killed
Those
11
folks
people.
ain't playing over there. They're not
Ain't
playing.
asked no questions. Just
Right.
launched it.
11 people that could be out on a boat ride.
No proof. No arrest.
No international law.
Right.
An elder said he done went over there and messed with the right ones now.
Yep.
Well, I
They
can tell you,
understand murder.
Check it out. Wants to
They
go to
understand
war.
murder for hire.
So
well, you don't have to worry.
I got to get this out. The guy asked me, what's his name, Don Lemon, asked me about this mayor and the governor. If we wanted to talk about the mayor, the governor, we have access to them. We could bring them on the show, or I could call them and ask them questions. Ain't no way I'm gonna let some out of towner drag me in the middle of a fight while these cats standing up for our city against this cat over here in DC who did not call the troops on January 6th. You know what I'm saying? It's not even a conversation.
It's not. It's not.
You didn't send anybody on January 6th when members of Congress were jacked up.
In the building.
Your own vice president.
And they were
And
climbing the walls.
He put a hit out on his own vice president.
Nobody did that foolishness.
He put a hit out on his own vice president.
Yep.
His own VP.
He put a hit out on it.
Yep.
Who the hell supports somebody like that?
People who are afraid out of their mind. That's something happens when you are terrifically afraid. You suspend all logic.
Mm-hmm.
These people have no cognitive ability to reason because their fear is only telling them that Donald Trump can help them not be exterminated by the black horde and the brown horde and the yellow horde that is outnumbering them in about 4 or 5 years.
Yep. Right now. For real.
And the election, even the one he's sitting on the seat in now was stolen.
Right.
How do you take 7 of the states that put you in the seat and have just win by just enough votes so that they can't call a recount?
Right.
That's what happened. Some people don't know that.
But that's the game, and they understand the game, and they put it in
and
place.
They play with those computers.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what Homeboy did. Homeboy, look, your stingers at the end when the people who planned the crime confess to the crime openly on air.
Right.
Donald
that's
Trump
that ego
tells
too.
people.
That's that ego too. I gotta let y'all know I was in it.
Exactly.
I gave them instruction.
Exactly.
I showed them how to climb the walls. I saw all that. They were all in the hallway. I saw them. That.
He screams out, Elon Musk saved the election for us. If it hadn't been for Elon, we would have lost. That's what he's telling people.
Because he don't listen. He thinks he got the power because he got all that money. And that he can say and do what he wants to do, when and where he wants to. He doesn't care. And until they lock his behind up, he gonna keep on spreading that news.
He has never been a billionaire until he became the president of the United States.
Yeah.
He was never a billionaire.
He broke it.
People don't know that. He faked it for years.
This move was against international law. You done bombed. You done went into a sovereign nation. You started a war.
Right, and they're talking. But he's got his people on there talking about that he ended 7.
You can say what you want. You can say what you want. Marsha, your final thoughts before we get out of here.
My final thought is that we as a community, Black people, we need to make certain that we surround ourselves with the leaders that we know and bringing them together. And in the next 6 months, we need to make certain that we've developed all of those strategies that need to be in place. I'm looking at Congressional Black Caucus is going to happen in the September-October timeframe. I would be very interested in seeing what those leaders are putting in place and what are we as a community putting in place to deal with that coming up.
All right, Mr. Bellamy, you got the final word.
Well, my final word is simple. The good professor there basically dialed us into something that we need to really pay close attention to, and that's AI, because AI can work both ways. Yep. It can work as a villain, or it can work as somebody that's not a villain. It depends on who's operating it. It's a good tool, but it always requires a human mind to guide.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that's the last word for me.
That's right. That's real too.
Mr. Bellamy, I'm going to do something that we haven't done on this show with this expanded audience. I'm a big fan of prayer.
Got it.
Won't you take us on home, brother?
Father, you already know the problems. You know this. You even have the solutions to it. And we're sitting here as agents trying to come into a position with you and understand that what we say, we get to see. If we don't say it, we can never see it. Because if we don't say it, then we don't believe you can do it. I believe you can change this. I believe you can turn this around. I believe there's an army of people that we haven't even identified yet that's already doing the things that need to be done so that we won't go through this as hard as we're going to have to. But I'm thanking you for your guiding hand in all of it, because all of us are spirit and you are spirit. That is very clear. You never, ever let us doubt that we are made in your image and in your likeness, and all that you are, we are inwardly. And even our science tells us that that's true. So I'm thanking you for solutions now. I'm thanking you for the warrior class that you've raised up already, and to let us integrate with them so that we can put an end to the madness that we see in front of us. This is not intelligent. This is stupidity at a mass level. And we know that you're not an unintelligent being. Therefore, you didn't create this mess, but you sure got the solutions for it. And we're asking you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, sir.
And Pharaoh said hallelujah, and I'm going to say amen.
Amen.
Where's Pharaoh?
He's quoting
Hey,
Bible
Pharaoh. I love that dog. That's a
Oh,
big
the
one.
dog barks.
Yeah. Hey, Pharaoh.
He's a little camera shy. He said, bring him in steak. Stop teasing him. New York strip. Don't bring in no chicken over here.
Pharaoh don't be playing, though.
Yes. Mafia Shakur, I appreciate you, brother. Alexander.
Brenda
Bennett, thank you. Powerful prayer. Mr. Avon, we have to fight against our extermination. Yeah, we gotta save food. We gotta, amen, Alexander. We gotta look out for our neighbors, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you all. And Peter, I ain't gonna thank you for hazing me my last days at Coppin State, but ain't no need to bringing up something from 1996.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess there is a need to.
Yeah, that sounds like a new show.
Look, Peter, I've never met you before, but it's been a pleasure being on
That's
there.
Kamei Murphy's son.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cab Calloway's grandson.
Yep.
All right, now. Well, that's a whole
This
different
is
bag
Cab
there.
Calloway's grandson. This guy right here.
Hi.
Yeah, howdy, you. Help me hostage up at Coppin State. You better give me my degree. I wasn't playing either. Anyway, thank you all.
We did.
It took too long. But thank you very much.
I had to make you sweat.
From North Family, baby. Coppin Bop. Thank you so much. And good night, all. I love you all.
Thank you.
Love you, Donnie.
Yes, sir.